Hi there. Uh, Today we're going to look at Android Studio quick overview. Basically, if this is the first time you look at Android Studio, you're going to look how it works. So in this tutorial, we're going to look at three main things. The first thing is installations steps. What do you need to install Android Studio? And the second thing, you need the Android Studio interface, understanding folders and file structure. And the third thing is quick example, which is basically an application quiz of Scrum quiz to just give you a very ahead idea. So the first thing you need to do to install Android Studio, you need to make sure that your Java GTK installed in your computer. So you can do this by writing a Java version, and then you can say the third version. In case your Java is not installed in computer, then you can just go to internet and write Java GTK and go to the first one, Oracle, and download your GTK based on your computer platform. And then once you install, you can now go to the next step, which is the next step is installing Android Studio. How do you install Android Studio? Simple. You go to the computer again, go to Google, click Android Studio, and then go to this one. And now just basically, sorry for the connection, and then you can download Android Studio based on your platform. In my case, it's a Mac, but if you have another platform, you can click download option and you can download this for Windows. You can download this for Mac, and you can download this for Linux or Chrome OS. So once it's downloaded, you can install like any other software, usually. After that, you can just go and launch the software. I'm gonna close it for now, but once the application is installed, this is what you're going to see. So the third thing we need is a virtual device, because if you create an application, you want to test it. Either you can install it in a virtual device or a physical device. In our case, we're going to do it in a virtual device. And how you do this, you go here in configure and you go to AVD manager, which is a virtual device manager. I already have here two devices, but for you, if this is your first time, this will be empty. How you do this? You just click create a virtual device, and then I'm going to check something like Pixel 2. You can choose any device here based on the sound, and then you go to next. Let me zoom this up, and then you can change the API level. You can change the Android version. For example, you can go Android 7 or Android 8 or Android 9. I'm going to take Android 9 because it's the most popular and the most recent API level. Click next. Give your virtual device a name. In that case, I'll give it Jawad test. All right, and portrait, of course, and click finish, and it's going to create a device for me. But because I'm gonna delete this because I already have them. I already have two, so I don't need this one anymore. So once installed, you can create your first application. How you do this? Start a new Android Studio project, and you can make it empty. So click next. Give your application a name, and then click finish. You can change to Java or Kotlin. We're going to do Java in our case here. Click after that finish, and your application is ready. Let me explain some files here, which is the third thing. Now we're going to do Android Studio interface, which is understanding what folder is made for and files for structure. So in any Android Studio application, there is three important stuff. The manifest, basically, which is like an information about your application, like the name and from where the application started. We're going to see an example about this. And the second thing, the code goes here. So, and the design goes here. So you got this design. This is where the design goes. And every single design has an appropriate code right here. So this is the most important stuff about any code. You got general information about the application, you got your Java code right here, and you got the design right here, and that's it. There's other stuff like if you want to have more images and files, you can put them there, and that's basically it. So we're going to close this application. Now the application we're going to see at the third level, quick example. Let's look at application. I'm gonna run it first and then we're going to start how it works. So this is the application. Give it some time. It should actually compile in the files, and then I'm gonna run the application. Just give it a moment. It automatically is going to launch the virtual device as we said before. I already have two devices, so you can create as many. So this is the example of the application we're going to try to run. So this is the application. It has the first page, which is a login. You just log in with a name and a password, and you click sign in. But if you click sign in, it's empty. It's gonna give you this toast. Oops. But if you click the right password, the right username and the right password, is gonna give you the under third page. So if else, you can register, and register you can create a name, and then I can create an email address, right? You can auto add stuff. Then I can add a username, and then I can add a password, and then I can click register. This is hard coded, so it's not actually working, but you need a database, but it's fine. But if I run here, I use a name called Hope. I already hard coded this, so it's all right. Click sign in, and then you give your question, and you can choose what answer is the questions. And once you do, you click next, and then under the road is going to give you the score. So this is the application. We're going to see the application right here in the presentation. Let me see, where is the presentation? Right here. So the application is made of 4 layers, or the 4 pages, or 4 layers, if you want, whatever you call them. So the first image, it will give you a page to sign in or sign up. If you sign in, you go directly to the question, to the quiz here. But if you the first time, you can register and go to the page register page, so you can fill up your informations. And then once you finish, it will give you your score. So this is the application, very simple. Now let's go back to the application and try to understand it. So the files, the first file, manifest, is basically just telling the application what's the name of the application, etc. And the most important part, if this thing is called intent filter, which basically tells you what page you want to start first, what layer, because this application has 4. Let's go. This application has actually 4 stuff. We have Android activity, quiz, register, score. But when you run the application, where is going to start from? From the main, from the quiz. So intent filter is telling it start from the main activity. So basically this manifest file here is just a general configuration files about the whole application. And the most important thing, we have 2 things you have to remember. The code goes right here for stuff here, and the design go right here, lay it here. You got 14. So every single design, so you can go actually to design and see the application. You can drag buttons. You can take a button or check and take it and drop it, drag and drop. So every single page with every single layer or page, it has an appropriate code right here. And to tell the application from where it's supposed to start, you go to this Android manifest and you put this intent filter inside main activity, which you tell them start from the main activity. You can do this in the register or quiz or whatever. So that's basically it. If you have extra images, you can put it in anything you drop here, it will be here. This is just basically files, and that's basically it. So if you go to the layout, you can create the first activity by just you have 2 options, either text, which is basically an XML files, if you want to copy paste it, or design. And design, you can take buttons, text, whatever you put them. Once you make this, you can go back to the code and hard coded this. In the code, there is 3 important stuff. First of all, you declare the variables, variable declaration. In our case, I do have this button called sign in. So first of all, I have to declare a button called BLB login, and after that I have to assign blogin a recuperation ID, which is basically whatever, because every single element here is an ID. I put the ID right into blogin, and after that I have to listen for the click, which is set on click listener. Basically, he will listen for the click, and I hard coded a username named Hope and a password called Allah. And then if you missed it, it will give you a toast called Oops. And once you're done it, you click it. So let's run the application. The application is already running, and that's it. Was just a very quick refresh. Thanks, and thank you. Bye bye.